lamp that the Belle Island miners used. This is called a carbide lamp. Now this lamp has two parts. The bottom part holds calcium carbide and the top part holds water. When they mix together, they form a gas. That gas is ignited using the wheel and flint on the front, and this lamp works like a modern-day lighter. These lamps would have a 4-inch flame shooting from the center of them, and the miners would attach these to a clip on the front of their hats. Do you think that was safe?
No.
Well, do you know what else was so funny? In 1940, Belle Island miners were given battery packs with headlamps, just like the one I'm wearing today. Do you think they're safe? They are. But the Belle Island miners didn't like them. They said the lights weren't bright enough. And even though they had these nice, safe 8-hour battery packs, the Belle Island miners preferred to go around working in the mine with that 4-inch flame shooting from the center of their hats. They had to be pretty careful, didn't they? Yes, ma'am. Honey, some of it is, but not all of it. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later in the tour, okay? Sweetie, we're going to move on down, okay?
We're in the Belle Island mine. We're trying to, the teacher, we're trying not to make the teacher see the camera. So we're putting it down low. That's pretty rough down here.
Hello, everybody. Hello. We're in the mines. Yeah. And you gotta keep the camera low so teachers don't see it.
Wait, just
And what I want you all to do is to move down in front of me so everybody can see behind me. Then take one step back. There you go. And my light is on for listen. Guys, before we go any further, I don't want anybody to push, okay? I'm going to make sure everybody sees everything. I promise. All right? As we move on down the line, boys and girls, you'll notice that there are white numbers painted on the walls. These numbers were painted here a long time ago by the Belle Island miners, and we haven't touched them. And the numbers were used to tell the miners which area or which room they would be working in that day. Now, when I go into room number 9, I walk right through here, and I walk for about 1.25 miles. I end up on a beach down on the east end of Belle Island. Now, with the room and pillar method of mining, there's a special system. The odd numbers always go to the east, the even numbers always go to the west. So if the miners started working in room number 9 that morning and they were 1/2 mile back into the room, when they counted down past 1 pillar of iron ore, they were automatically in room number 11. If they counted up past a pillar, they were automatically in room number 7. That's how the miners kept track of where they were located and how they didn't get lost in the mine. Now, I'm going to go right across the front of the room. And the light is on for listening. Boys and girls, this is room number 10. When I go into room number 10, and I walk right through this opening here, I walk west for about 1/2 hour, and I crawl up a little embankment. I end up on the back slope in number 3 mine. Remember how we talked about there were 4 submarine mines on Belle Island, 4 underground mines? Well, eventually the 4 underground mines on Belle Island became interconnected. And this is just like one big underground city. We've been told that the tunnel system underneath Belle Island is actually as big as the city of St. John's. It's massive. I want everybody to stay very still and listen carefully. What do you hear?
Water.
Do you think that's the ocean?
Yes.
It's not the ocean. That is actually a natural spring. That's 1/2 mile back from room number 10. And if we get a good, heavy, rainy day, you can't hear yourself speak out here. We have to shout out here to be heard over that. We're going to move on down now to one of the rooms.
Turn it back to me. Turn it back to me.
This hill goes down to
10 meters. Hear you whispering.
this
hallway hill thing goes down 10 meters, so we'll be down here for a pretty long time. Oh my god.
I'm gonna make this video 10 minutes long.
Another one. There used to be freight cars, freight trains that used to come down here, and they used to come down these stairs. Look, see this thing right there. Look it on that button. And they used to take up the whole spot. This open pit mine.
An open pit mine is above ground.
Here, just give me the camera for a second.
I'm not allowed giving anyone the camera.
I want to hold it.
Yeah, I'm not allowed doing that.
Here, turn it on me. Turn it on. That cam right there. Put it on the cam. Set fires for the people, and they used to actually like keep their hands warm and all their body warm up there.
Yeah, talk about this.
A horse. Those are the old horses' stalls.
Okay, boys and girls, the first thing I want everybody to do in this area is to find a spot where you're comfortable. Because when people are shuffling around, it's very difficult for other people to hear what I'm saying. Now guys, we're going to stay up in this area right now. We'll move down by the horse after, okay? I'm going to count to 3 and I want everybody in front of me. And everybody stays still on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Everybody freeze. Good listening. Boys and girls, this is one of the stable areas, and there were several located throughout the mine, because we would have 80 horses working underground at one time. And the Bell Island miners used 2 different types of horses. They used draft horses, which are very large, like this model down here, and they also used Newfoundland ponies. The horse ponies, yeah. The horse's job was to go to the main slope and take the empty ore cars in around the back rooms to be filled by the miners. Right next to me is one of the original feed boxes, and this is where the men would keep the horses' food. This box is made from concrete, and it's lined with wood. The concrete prevented the rats from chewing through the wood and getting into the horses' food. Now, the horses would stay underground for months at a time. So the only light they would see is whatever type of lighting the miners were using during that period. Remember we talked about the candles and the oil lamps? Well, when the men would take the horses to the surface every couple of months or so to give them a rest, they would blindfold them in layers, and they would remove the layers one by one until gradually the horses' eyes adjusted to the daylight again. Now I'm going to move on down to the stalls, and if anybody wants to take pictures here, you can do so, and then come join me when you're done, okay?
Down here. Wow! Those are the old horse stalls. They're right to the left.
Okay, guys, we're not going to open them. I'll have to touch them. I want everybody down on their knees, okay? Everybody down on their knees, please. Okay, guys, the listening light is on, so I shouldn't hear anybody's voice except for mine, right? Boys and girls, in the nighttime, the miners would drape a canvas material all along the front of these stalls, and that helped keep the horses warm by keeping their body heat in. They always painted the walls around the stalls white, and that gave some extra brightness for the horses' eyes, and it helped keep things clean as well. And there were people who were paid just to take care of these horses. And from what we've been told, they